And let's just start with just a few warm-ups. And then just into this one. Just a few of the heart qigong. So here, just really reaching so the upper back can straighten out a bit. As your hands reach up, your sacrum can drop down. The sacrum is the plumb on the end of the plumb line, your spine being the line. I want the reach up to effectuate a release in my lower back. And one more. And now just a few breathing. So expansive breathing. So really breathing in and expanding the chest and the belly, and then breathing out and contracting everything to expel as much air as possible, and allowing the spine to extend and then flex. So really reaching out, really coming into as local a point as possible, the dantian. So you're going from one extreme to another through the whole range. So if anything, this is the phase where the bum sticks out a bit. And then this is the phase where you try and pull your tail under. So your head and your tail are always pointing in the same direction. Now let's just try just a few really local contractions in the dantian. So really tightening those muscles and then just letting it out. Pulling the belly right in, feeling how that releases the hips and pushes the min meng backwards and spreads the sacrum across. Just bring the hands out and now just tipping. So letting the spine bend. And remember, the head and the tail point in the same direction. So my tail is directing down in this side as my head is pointing here. And then the same here. So the spine is really bending, not tilting. And now let's just try just lifting the leg a few times. So just 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Trying to get the knee a little bit higher than the hip, and then that will encourage the lower back to stretch down and under. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And now let's just go into the Tai Chi. Let's go posture by posture. So attention posture. So it's important to make sure you've given yourself the directions as you stand quietly and still before you start moving. The main thing here is the spine. So my head feels as though it's suspended. So you can get that either by just really feeling a pull here, or the way I tend to do it is just put my hand on the back of the neck and just imagine it's someone else's hand, so that it's almost the sense that they're holding you up a little bit. And then you can just release this. The sacrum can just hang through the legs. Or you can just either put your finger on the chin or imagine that your finger is on the chin, just pushing your chin in and pressing the back of the neck towards the collar of your jacket. Releasing the legs. That means unlocking them. They don't have to do anything special before they bend. You can just melt and then they will bend. If they're locked, then you have to unlock them before you can bend them. So this sense that they're just hanging, and you can normally tell that it's right because there will be a bounce in them. There'll be like a elastic, rubbery bounce. And remember the other instructions. So the head suspended, the shoulders rounded, the chest relaxed and sense of hollowness, and then that feeling of the waterfall of warm water just cascading over you and just dragging you down. So a sense of sinking. And then we start moving. So they call stillness is known as Wu Ji, which means emptiness, really. So the empty circle. And as soon as you start moving, the Wu Ji becomes Tai Chi, becomes yin and yang, the Tai Chi symbol. Now we want to make sure that when we start moving, it's a turn rather than simply moving from side to side or moving up or down. So I turn into this sink. I'm going to sink into this leg here. I'm going to turn towards it. And I want that to happen because my leg has just melted. And you can get that by just imagining that it's the knee that moves. The knee moves out, and that draws me down and around a little bit. And then this foot can just lift up. And then you just step out with this foot. Now, because you've turned towards this corner, effectively, this step feels like a step backwards. To come into this foot, I pull myself across. So again, with this knee, I pull the knee out, and that will turn me into it. And then I can use this turn here to bring these toes round, keeping my weight in this foot. First, just retrieving the correct central equilibrium, and then just sinking down into this leg, letting yourself turn in that direction. Lift this foot up, step out with the toes pointing forwards. If you've turned to this corner, that will be easier. And then I want to move into this foot, not by pushing myself with this leg, which we know is wrong, but by pulling with this. And I pull with this foot by sending the knee out. My knee goes out, and that will pull me around and into the leg. And then I want this foot to come round, and so I just do a circle here. And now I'm 70% in the left leg. And now just release the hands, so the wrists just relax, and now your hands, fingers pointing down. And now imagine that your wrists are being pulled up by threads. And then once they get to shoulder height, just imagine your elbows are becoming heavier and heavier. So the elbows are pulling down, which causes this moment here where the fingers point up and then the hands flatten out. Imagine you're trying to feel the energy of the ground. The hands aren't just resting here. They're reaching down. They're trying to connect to the earth. So just imagine if you were submerged in water and you brought your arms up like this, it would actually drive your body down into the bottom of the pool. The lift of the hands is actually driving my spine down through my legs. And then here, when the elbows release and pull down, there's a sense that I'm coming up. Imagine if you were in water and you push down like this, your body would shoot up. So the same thing here, but it's the heaviness of my elbows that keeps me down. So here I'm being driven down into the bottom of the pool. And then here my heavy elbows come down. So there's a sense of rising, but also a sense of getting heavier. And now here I really want to feel like I can just reach down and feel the ground. First of all, just making sure you've got this. So the hand on the back of the neck is helping the neck lengthen and straighten, and that will help the lower back similarly lengthen and straighten. So my hand is pulling my head up a little bit so that my sacrum can drop down a little bit. So the cervical spine, the neck curve, and the lumbar curve are very much connected and related. So I just sink and turn, lift this foot up, and then just step out. And now I pull myself across, and then this circles to bring the toes around. And now just relaxing here. If you could, You just do this every time you finish a posture, because as we do a posture, we tend to get a bit tense. And now the wrists coming up, that's driving you down into the legs, and then the heavy elbows. So there's almost a sense that your body is rising as your hands are dropping. And now here, just imagine the hands are going down and down and down and almost touching the ground. And now the next bit, ward off left. So someone is attacking me with the same hand that I'm going to yield with. So what I want to do is reach forwards and take their wrist and yield to it. As I reach forwards, I'm staying in this leg. Now, normally what we would do is turn like this and come into this leg, which would then release the energy into this hand. But this yield is just a little bit more involved. So we reach forwards with the left hand, my left hand, and then I turn here and I come completely into this foot. And then this hand comes in and takes over from this hand. So if you imagine you're bringing someone's arm in, this hand takes over as I come into this foot, and then this hand can circle around and reach up to the person's elbow or even higher. And then I step here, and then the ward-off just comes up, and then here just cutting down and bringing the toes around. Look down at your front foot. So ideally, the big toe is just coming in just a little bit. So what we would like is feet where the toes really splay. So what that will mean is that your big toe is coming in, but your little toe is going out. So the opposite of how most people's feet are. Most people's feet, the toes are angled together like this because of the narrow toe box of the shoes that we wear. So in Tai Chi, we're just really trying to open up the foot, which is very important for the spirit. So it's your middle toe, the third toe, that actually points forwards. So I turn. So reaching forwards, big circle, yielding, reaching up with the left hand again, step, and then this cuts down and brings the toes around. Let's try again and just go on, do the next little bit. So ward off right. So this has done a circle like this. So for the beginning of the next bit, you just continue that. So this has done this to bring the hand down, and then you just go here. So there's a little turn this way before you then turn the other way to take the arm with this. And then this really reaches out, holding the ball, and then step here. And then this just swings up. And then you can do another little circle here to bring these toes round. I'll try it facing this way, yeah, so you can see me at the end. And now just roll back, turning a little bit more to get the ward off. And this just swings out of the way. Turn this way into this foot. The hand swings up, forwards, back. The whole section is called grass sparrow's tail. I'll try it this way again, and then we'll go through and do the single rip as well. So turning this way, this foot comes up, step, circle, circle, bring the toes round. Back, straightening the arms, and then just a big turn, bringing your right toes round, and then just everything comes in. You're making a hook with the hand, and that is over your left hand. So now you've still got most of the weight in this foot, and then you imagine striking someone with your elbow and then turning back to fold out the hook, and then a big step round. And then just swing this arm up and come forwards, dragging the back toes round to the corner. I'll try one this way. press. Back into the back foot, separating the hands, and then just forwards to push. And then weight back, straighten the arms, turning round as far as the corner if you can. And then just bring everything in, send the hook out, bring this foot up, step, and just turning back to the front, opening the hands up, heel down, and then just bringing both hands in. So the hand that's on the same side as the extended leg is straight and the other arm is bent. So this hand is looking at this elbow. And then just turn back into the back foot and then pick this foot up, step, and coming forward. So this sense of striking with your shoulder, so turning this way a little bit, and then swinging up this arm as you come into that foot. So you end up with 70% in the front leg. So turning into the leg, stepping out or back, and then around and around. So this feels quite closed. The two hands have come in. So this is called the closed posture. And then the previous one, single whip, is the open posture, because the chest is really open like this. So going again from one extreme to another, and then just keep it closed and just pull down. pick this foot up, step out, and then driving forwards with the back foot, pushing into that shoulder, and then swinging this arm up. You've struck someone with your shoulder, they have retreated, and so you've come forwards to strike here. Or you can think of the back hand simply protecting the elbow. So 1, 2. So we're turning the opposite of way we would normally turn. So we'd normally turn this way to come out of this foot, and then this way to come into this foot. So here we're turning. So let's try it once more. Feeling the ground here. Again, I'm low, I'm sunk. So when we do these big circles, we really have to be careful that we don't come up. So as this arm is coming up, I have to make sure that this hand here is keeping me rooted. So this hand is trying to find this hole in the groin, in the hip, in the inguinal fold, to make a real anchor on this foot. And then I can bring this foot up. And then here, like I'm dragging something up from the ground. And then this comes down and brings the knee round. And again, this hand is coming in to this point here, which releases this arm and allows it to come up without bringing my energy up. Again, the foot comes up, resting on the inside of the knee, and then step. Round with the toes. And now here, what tends to happen here, everything comes up. So just trying to just stay down. Directing everything into this point here. And then this hand just takes out the knee. And you come forwards for the press. And then going back to 1, 2, 3, 4. And then back, round. This hand here, again, is directing into this fold here to make sure that I really am rooting with this leg. I'm not just balancing on it. Chest really open because your hook is pulled back. And then here, you're beginning to close. And now you bring in this arm, and then you close in this arm. So it's quite compact, really spread from the back. And then down. This foot comes up. And then step. Shoulder. Hand. Again, just a tension posture, just to bring it to a close. So our minds are so used to thinking to themselves. We don't realize it because we do it all the time, but we're always setting the body so that the mind can go absent and start thinking to itself. And what that will tend to do is just stiffen the legs, lock the legs, so that I am safe and stable in this body, and then the mind can do its thing. We just want to make the body a place that cannot house a wandering mind. So just this sense of this stretching upwards and this releasing down. And also remember just swinging forwards a little bit. You want to gaze forwards softly rather than aggressively. So I'm presenting a really receptive front. And if I'm going to use any energy, it's all going to come from the back, from my ward off. So this is just hollow, flowing down Chen into the ground.